Welcome to Eutropia, the twice favored. Yes, I knew that. As far as our opening hand goes, yeah, we've got a lot of War Elves, the Enchantress piece, and a new Enchantress piece. So we will certainly keep on this one. And hopefully we can have some fun against Muldrotha. I know Muldrotha can be very stout sometimes. So let's go and lead off with Forest and go and lead off with Lana War Elves. And then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. Also, if you're keeping score at home, it is safe to check the box that this is a Good Morning Vietnam video. Baby girl is asleep right now. I'm on morning shift, and so I figured with her being asleep, I'm going to get up and record a little bit. So I try to let my voice get warmed up, but I think we just go and change his presence. Could go for Eutropia, put a +1 counter on it against flying. Yeah, we just want to start going for some card draw. That sounds like a very, very good plan. So anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to opponent. But yes, long story short, got up early. I built some new Theros stacks. In fact, I built 2 this morning, and I'm getting around to recording them. So I'm very excited to have some fun with Eutropia and to talk about it. And also with Eutropia, there's a lot of vowels in there, and vowels are my worst enemy in the English language, so if I mix it up during the video, hey, just giving you a heads up. So let's have Island come down. At this point right now, I think, so we've got 4 total mana. I think we're okay with going for Eutropia. I mean, if our opponent's got a counter magic, I would much rather them kind of burn it on our commander. Okay, that one just basically resolved super quick, and then pass it over to our opponent. So we could swing in for 1, and I'd rather just hold on to Lana War Elves, just in case we need it. So I doubt we're going to see any flash action from our opponent, but crazier things have happened. So we're playing Eutropia, the twice favored constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1 counter on target creature. That creature gains flying until end of turn. Oh, we're going to lose Lana War Elves. Poor little buddy. Let's go and sacrifice Lana War Elves because we want to keep those extra counters going. And just so we know that Merciless Executioner is coming on the way with Muldrotha, we're at least going to try to get a few more creatures on the battlefield. That way we can build up a board state, not worry about Merciless Executioner kind of chopping everybody in half. Let's have Yavi Maya Hollow enter the battlefield. And I think at this point, if we still want to end up going, yeah, they've got an island out there, so I think like Cold Eye is going to be the best bet. So, yeah, they're not looking at any sort of crazy ramp either. So, let's have Cold Eye enter the battlefield. Let's go and swing in for 2 with Eutropia and get that commander damage so that Iron Price commander damage with Eutropia. That's going to put them down to 28, and then that'll be 2 total commander damage. So there we go. Pass turn over to opponent. Play against Muldrotha, the Grave Tide. During each of your turns, you may play up to 1 permanent card of each permanent type from your graveyard. So a permanent, if you're new to Magic, and that. Long story short, if you've got a creature, if you've got an enchantment, artifact, planeswalker, land, anything that's a permanent that sticks around on the battlefield, you're going to be able to play it out of the graveyard once per turn. So if you haven't played a graveyard deck before, if you want to play a graveyard, or do we have a board wipe coming? Is this Damnation? We'll see. But yeah, if you want to build a graveyard deck, highly suggest Muldrotha. It's a lot of fun to play, and you can have a lot of fun with it. So we did cover both commanders. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you want to be one of the Eutropia +1 counters that make sure, kind of toss the creatures up into the air, make sure that they can, yeah, they do gain flying. For a second, I was like, uh-oh, did they gain flying? But they do. But yeah, if you want to help toss up, something like Cold Eye, imagine that'd be very creepy. Just tossing her up in the air and say, go attack. But anyway, you want to do that, head over to MTGOTraders. That's going to be Kinris Transformation. It's going to be a 3/3 elk, which is not fun. We're getting Oko'd without the actual Oko out there. So we do have ways to deal with that. So little bit of a bummer, but at least at this point we do have Cold Eye, and the thing that's going to stink is that we're going to miss out on that card advantage, which is something that we definitely want. So I guess at this point we just start swinging in. We don't have extra mana. Let's do this. Let's go and swing in with Cold Eye and our new Elk over here. I think that'll be pretty good. So let's go and swing in with both of these. That way we can at least get in for some commander damage. And I kind of like holding up Arcane Denial at this point right now. Our opponent hasn't gotten off to a very fast start. And so, yes, we definitely want to use that ability. There we go. Heroic Intervention. I actually like that a lot. Let's have Soul Ring come down. And that's going to be 1, 2, 3. So we can actually go for Champion. Yeah, let's do that. So let's go Champion, because what that's going to allow us to do next turn is that's going to allow us to end up going for Canopy Cover. And that's going to allow us to get an extra counter, cash in some double card draw, and then we'll be good to go. So that's one of the fun things about Enchantress is that, even if we kind of have our commander turn into an elk between champion and Enchantress Presence. The fact that we just have this built-in card draw engine makes it a lot of fun. So we're looking at Glenalindra. Do we want to Arcane Denial that? I'm cool with that. Just simply because that non-creature spell is going to hit so many things. And that's really going to mess with our game plan. I really want Canopy Cover to stick, especially on Champion. So they do get to cash in 2 card draw, but it looks like they're a little bit slow on their land drop. So hopefully we can take advantage of that and then go from there. So let's let our opponent cash in 2 card draw. We're going to draw an extra card too. And there we go. Hit a forest. Let's see what we draw for the draw step. And also, ingaming.com, you know the spiel on that, ingaming.com/Jolt, and I started a Patreon. So, there we go. Let's have some fun. Draw into another forest. So, let's have forest come down. Let's go for Canopy Cover on Champion. And I think, because that's going to be 2 card draw, we're just going to go and tap down Soul Ring because I want to leave up as much color mana as possible. And so, there we go. All right, so it's going to be an extra card draw off Enchantress Presence with our opponent tapped out. So, I feel pretty good about this. Gilded Lotus, okay. And that's going to enter the battlefield. And then we'll get the additional card draw. And that's one of the good things about we run into delay. So that's going to be Gilded Lotus, 1, 2. Yeah, I actually think Gilded Lotus is really not that bad because it keeps us open on Heroic or Delay. So sounds like a winner to me. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're still going to be able to cash in the card draw from Cold Eye too. All right, so let's go ahead and push in. That's going to be 4. That's going to be 6 total damage coming across. And if you're not running Canopy Cover, I cannot... Oh my god, Canopy Cover is such a good card. Yes. And then we draw into Dryad. Since we don't... Well... We do need some board wipe protection. At this point right now, the only thing that we're looking out for is Toxic Deluge. And when you're playing Enchantress, you know, where it matters to have your card draw pieces on the battlefield, holding on to Heroic Intervention is such a big thing. So let's go for delay on Tatyova. It's going to be triple blue. And we just want to stop that. And you can see how good these situational counter spells are in a deck like this. You know, things that we can, you know, even though we're giving them card advantage with an Enchantress deck, you know, we're going to be able to generate card advantage quicker than our opponent. So even though we're letting them cash in 2 card draw, we're being able to just kind of basically just stunt their growth quick enough for us to deal some damage. So I kind of like that. And actually, this is a fairly good option. So let's go triple green. That's going to be Evolution Sage. And we'd be cashing in so much card draw with Cold Eye, but unfortunately, we're not being able to take advantage of that right now. But let's have Evolution come down. We're going to go for a +1 counter. We're going to be able to proliferate on Champion. Click OK. They're going to make it a nice 3/5. And let's go for a Dryad. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. That's going to be an additional card draw and an additional card draw whenever... Oh, and then we run into Whip Silk. Okay. Oh, yeah. And then we draw, Simic Charm. Okay. So at this point, we're looking at Simic Charm for some extra card advantage. Yeah, I kind of like that. Let's go ahead and swing in with the entire crew. Let's go. Target creature gets +3/+3. And that's going to be 4 coming across. Look at this, man. I know our opponent's kind of gotten off to a slow start, but, you know, sometimes when I build these decks, yes, we want to use that to build. Oh. Look at that. All right. And then anything else, we have the land drop to make for the turn. That's going to be a Champion because we can make an extra land drop. There we go. Click OK. And yeah, I think we just simply just pass the turn. So because we need green mana. And then we'll kick it back over there. So if our opponent doesn't have an answer, then it looks like we can get some really good stuff done. So, you know, with a lot of these new commanders, you know, if you don't know that my wife and I, we just had a baby. And so testing some of this stuff out, it's a little bit hard sometimes. You know, I would love to build a deck, test it out, and then go to record with it. But, you know, having a newborn, I just don't really have a lot of free time. And so I tossed this deck together this morning, and just to kind of have it, you know, it did help that we had 2 Enchantress pieces in our opening hand. But you can see how just potent, just kind of combining that Simic +1 counter flying option. You know, even our commander was locked down as a elk at the beginning of the game, but just through basically just deck value and deck synergy, we were able to kind of close the game out, and pretty good showing. So it did help that we had Arcane Denial and Delay in our opening hand, but that's how Magic goes right there. So anyways, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Eutropia, the twice favored. As far as opening hand goes, we've got double green. I'm not super wild about this one. Let's go ahead and mulligan on this one. Typically, you want to have some sort of ramp, and yeah, this is not a good hand either. So we're going to go ahead and mulligan. Yeah, I'd like to be aggressive, you know, especially in a deck like this to where the overall concept of the deck is a very strong concept, but if you need a good opening hand to make sure it can actually survive into the late game. And so let's go and mulligan. Yes, and I like that. It's going to be Kodama's Reach and Farhaven. Yes, this is, oh, that is beautiful. And we do have a card advantage source too in Enchantress. And sorry, our opponent was talking to us in the chat, and I'll kind of explain what's going on here in a second. Let's go and keep on this one. So I guess at this point, we'll put an island on the bottom. We have to put 2 cards. And I think we'll put Elvish Mystic. Yeah, I mean, that's a beautiful. All right, so we're going to click OK. Let's go and lead off with a Woodland Stream. And just in case we're running into some sort of, I don't know, counter magic from our opponent, we're going to go and lead off with Mana Crypt, because either way, we need that for Kodama's Reach for next turn. And Farhaven Elf too. So there we go. Anything else? Let's go and pass the turn over to opponent. We're playing Eutropia, the twice favored constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1 counter on target creature. That creature gains flying until end of turn. So I'm just going to choose Tails on this Mana Crypt. Lost the flip. We are 0 for 1 on that bad boy. And there we go. Run into a land. So let's have Forest enter the battlefield. And I guess at this point, yeah, I just want to make sure we've got the land drop for next turn. So let's go Mana Crypt. We're going to grab Mana Crypt. We're going to go, I'm not Mana Crypt. Let's go for Kodama's Reach. Let's split this one down the middle. Let's grab ourselves an island, grab ourselves a forest. Let's put forest onto the battlefield, island into our hand, and then pass turn to our opponent. Playing against Tuvasa, the Sunlit. Tuvasa gets +1/+1 for each enchantment that you control. Then, whenever you cast your first enchantment spell each turn, draw a card. So we've actually got a nice Enchantress matchup, which I'm very excited about. Let's go and choose Tails on this Mana Crypt trigger. One the flip. We are 1 for 2 on those. Yes, we are. Let's have Island come down. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think we just kind of dump a value board state out. Yeah, let's do that. So we're going to go for Eutropia, and let's go Cold Eye. At the very least, we can just start swinging in and generating some value. So anything else, pass it back over to our opponent. So we did cover both commanders. Give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you want to be one of the people with Eutropia that throws our creatures into the air with a +1 counter, we do need a lot of, kind of manual labor to help throw some of these creatures. But hey, head on over there. Imagine trying to throw Cold Eye out of her little pond. Anyway, works out. We get some card advantage. Head over to MTGOTraders. So that one's still out on the. If you have a better Eutropia ad spot, hop in the comments. That was fun last time when I mentioned that, and people did come up with ideas. So, all right, so we lost the flip again. Ooh, and then we run into Rancor, which is exactly what we wanted in this particular matchup. So, since we don't really have to worry about counter magic, and then we've got Rancor being able to put on Cold Eye, let's just go and go for that. So let's go Rancor on Cold Eye. That's going to be green. We're going to be able to cash in an additional card to draw with Enchantress. Yes, definitely want to use that ability. It's going to be Command Tower, which I think we've made the land drop. We'll look at that here in a second. And that's going to be an additional +1 counter. It's going to put a +1 counter on Cold Eye. There we go. That's going to make it a, oh, look at that. That is just a value town right there. So let's go and push in. We've got Eutropia and Cold Eye swinging in. And the cool thing about running something like Cold Eye is it's going to give us like 4 cards to draw, which is one of the best things. Oh, look at that. Anything else, pass it back over to our opponent. So opponent tossed up the good game, saying it looks like they might not be getting the right color land, which if you're playing a 3-color deck and you've got triple forest, it's a little hard to kind of get that established. But we'll see if they're going to end up scooping it up. Slow Player 1. I always enjoy playing against Slow Player 1. It's been a long time since we've played against Slow Player 1. But Slow Player 1 has they have a lot of really good builds. I always really enjoy playing against them. And I don't know, it very much reminds me of, like, we kind of have the same build style sometimes, to where you just kind of build these commanders in a, not necessarily like a competitive commander way. You just build a functioning commander deck. And I've always appreciated their builds of certain commanders. And then Soul Player 1 also has a very nice appreciation of, some of the lesser commanders too, which is always kind of fun to see. So there we go. See if our opponent can't get some Enchantress card draw going. That's going to be pretty nice. But thankfully, in this matchup, in the matchup of card advantage between Enchantress versus Enchantress, having Cold Eye, the person with Cold Eye is king. So that's going to really allow us to kind of set the tone on this one. As you can, just drawing 4 cards. I mean, look at that. We've got 2 lands, Chromatic Lantern, and Whip Silk, which is really going to allow us to just start mowing through town. So, all right, so that's going to be Life's Bounty, and that's going to be an additional card draw. They're going to hit their colors. Let's see what they can do about old Cold Eye over there. Cold Eye is just kind of sitting out in the open right now. We have no protection for Cold Eye. And so if they do have Path to Exile or Swords to Plowshare, they will certainly be able to kind of stop Cold Eye, and then we will have to bounce back. But one of the things I do want to highlight, and especially in a deck like Eutropia, we do have 1, 2, 3. We'll have access to 4 total green mana next turn. Just imagine, just going Whip Silk 4 times next turn and putting 4 extra counters on Cold Eye. We're going to go for that. I know it's a little bit of a riskier play, and especially with them putting Helm of the Gods onto Dryad, that we're just going to end up going for Whip Silk. So just goes to show you how good something like Whip Silk is, being able to return it to its hands. Let's go and choose Tails on this Mana Crypt trigger. One the flip, I lost count, to be perfectly honest. So let's have Polluted Delta come down. Let's go and crack Polluted Delta. Let's grab ourselves a breeding pool. And it's always nice whenever I'm recording a new commander that in the previous video I had Cold Eye. And yeah, do I not have... I did not put Tropical Island in here. Well, that's a big goof up on my part. All right, so we're going to have to shock this one in. Sorry about that. Yeah, when I ever get into the zone on making commander decks, sometimes I'm just like, oh, throw 100 different things in there. Let's put Whip Silk onto Cold Eye. So that's going to allow us to cash in some card advantage. Yes, definitely want to use that ability. Draw an additional card, Reclamation Sage. And then the cool thing about Reclamation Sage, we can actually just end up popping a Dryad. But at this point, we're just going to be putting a +1 counter on Cold Eye. Give it that much needed flying. And I think at this point, yeah, we can just wait for some card advantage. So let's go and push in with Cold Eye. That's going to be 5 coming across. And the good thing about running these enchantments or these ores that you can recur back to your hand, it just makes sure you keep that value engine going. So that's going to be 5 card draw. Yes, definitely use that ability. Oh yeah. Okay, let's deploy some stuff out. So let's go for Overgrowth. Yeah, and I think that'll be good. So let's go ahead and enchant this forest. We're going to tap down on green. It's going to give us some extra mana and some actual card draw too with Enchantress. Yes, we will definitely take that. Then we have Wild Growth on Forest. And let's go and put an additional +1 counter. I think we need to start kind of hedging our bets, so we'll go and put an additional counter on Enchantress. And then we can always flash in Hunt. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 for that. Yeah, and I guess at this point, I think this will be a good bet. So let's go Breeding Pool, Mana Crypt. Let's have Reclamation Sage into the battle. I hate to be super aggressive against our opponent, but Dryad's going to be one of the bigger things that we need to watch out for. And yes, definitely use that ability. It's going to get rid of Dryad. And then anything else, we will pass the turn. Yeah, because with not Master the Wild Hunt, I'm thinking of something else. Let's have Island and Forest enter the battlefield, the graveyard, excuse me. And then we'll get rid of, I guess, Command Tower, because Lumbering Falls might actually be pretty good. And then past our opponent says we need Reliquary Tower now. And I'm going to have to agree with them. That is... just goes to show, just getting down to value creatures pretty good. But yeah, if you're thinking about building this commander, I highly recommend using enchantments that recur back to your hand. We've gotten to this point now to where if you've never built an Enchantress deck, the ways you win is through just card advantage. Just not having the biggest creature out there. You can win with the biggest creature, but the main thing that you're trying to take away with an Enchantress deck is just generating this machine that just generates value after turn after turn. You just have consistent card draw. You can see that we're like 11 cards deeper than our opponent. They're sitting at 86 cards in their library. We've got 75 cards in our library. So the main thing to take away, long story short, the main thing to take away from Enchantress, and this is also important for the newer players out there because Theros is a very heavy enchantment set, is just learn to build this value engine. You want to build something that's just going to generate a ton of card advantage. Then once you just have so much mana and you have so much stuff to do, it doesn't really matter that we're going all in on Cold Eye. At this point, we've already established ourselves with a lot of extra value. So let's go and flash in Omen. And just little things like Omen of the Hunt. Check this out. This is just getting like a 2-for-1 off of getting some extra value is or technically a 3-for-1 because we're gonna have this flash in. It's gonna be 1, 2, Yeah, I mean, just like this value play right here. Normally, this is a good thing, but we're going to get the Enchantress card draw. Yes, we're going to use that ability, draw into Overgrowth, which is nice. We're going to have that enter the battlefield. That's going to be an extra counter onto Reclamation Sage because we want to kind of start spreading the wealth out. Search our library for a basic. Yes, we will do that. And since we do have Whip Silk, we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves another forest. And then there we go. All right, so get an extra enchantment on the battlefield and choose tails. So just basically, if you're just doing stuff that you normally doing in a commander game, but you're rewarded with card draw and counters and flying, hey, that's a very good feeling. Ooh, and we run into Thassa. So yeah, I think we're gonna try to. I don't know if we can close it out, but we are gonna try our best. So let's go Omen of the Sea, and I know technically this is flash, but we want to get some good card advantage going right now, or board state advantage, I should say. So let's have Omen of Sea enter the battlefield. That's going to put an additional +1 counter. Our opponent's tapped out with green, so we're going to go and put that onto Cold Eye. We're going to Scurry 2, get a little fever. Let's put both of those on the bottom. That's going to be additional +1 counter. Let's have Ordeal of Nayela come down, and that's going. We'll go and put that on Reclamation Sage, I think. Kind of like that, because it's going to give it flying. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so it's going to be Reclamation Sage. We're going to be able to cash in an additional card draw. Yes, we will definitely use that ability. And we're going to put that card draw onto Reclamation Sage, and then we have Overgrowth as our last bit of Enchantress piece. Yeah, so we'll do that. So let's go and target Woodland Stream. The main thing is we want this Ordeal of Nayela to flip. So I'm just going to go Enchantress, cash in a card draw. Yes, we will. Oh my goodness. Oh, and then Shimmering Wings. Okay. Then even though we're already giving our creatures flying, just being able to go for that. Let's put that extra counter on Rec Sage. That way we can take advantage of that. Let's go Wings on Enchantress. That way she still gets to swing into attack and have some fun. Huge shout out to our opponent for sticking this out. It's always nice to, when a deck's going off, it just really helps when your opponent sticks it out to kind of showcase what is possible. So, all right, so we can get the additional +1 counter onto Enchantress. We've made the land drop for the turn. Let's go Forest. And then we actually run into Growing Rights of Itlamok. Oh, we could have got that down, but that's okay. Our opponent has been very nice on this one. Let's go and push in, don't attack. Everything else has flying. Nothing can block over there. We're going to get an additional +1 counter. Oh, look at that. Reclamation Sage, 6/5. The other thing that you can definitely run in a deck like this is just having some nice enter the battlefield creatures, because it's really going to help you kind of push your utility game plan. That way you're not having to run like another Voltron piece. So let's go and swing in. We've got 12. We've got 14 coming across. And that's going to put our opponent down pretty far. We've got a ton of cards that we're drawing with Cold Eye. And so, and if we wanted to, let's say we have a certain board state, we could have dumped all of that value onto Cold Eye and then just swung in for an insane amount of card advantage. So highly recommend building Eutropia. It's going to be a very, very fun deck for you to pilot. It's going to be 6 cards that we cash in. Yes, definitely use that ability. Although we run into Heroic Intervention, which is pretty much what we want to see. So let's... And our opponent's been a very good sport on this one. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and pass the turn over. And they did toss up the good game. So we're just going to discard down to hand size without doing a bunch of other stuff in our hand. So I have a lot of respect for Slow Player 1. There we go. They let us kind of have fun with it. Yeah, we could have got down Growing Rights of Itlamok. We'll get rid of Birds of Paradise, Master Biomancer. There we go. All right, so we do have protection with Heroic Intervention. And then we're going to go and pass the turn. Yeah, that's one of those... our opponent, we could have dumped a few more things out there, but I'm just trying to respect our opponent. Unless they've got a board wipe, then we have to reset. But if they do have a board wipe, then we've got Heroic Intervention. So now as far as some of the ores that you do want to run to Eutropia, if you're new to Voltron, if you're new to kind of building an Enchantress stack, little things like this, like Alpha Authority and not Horizon Canopy, but Canopy Cover, those go such a long way. Being able to give that creature hexproof or making it to where only one creature can block it. Because let's say that this creature is going to get flying. We're going to be able to give it hexproof. They're going to have flying. If your opponent does have a creature that can block something with flying, simply just putting an Alpha Authority on it, it's going to make it to where it can't be blocked by more than one creature. And then more than likely, your creature is going to be able to outclass whatever sort of creature with flying they have on the battlefield. So, but yeah, as far as Eutropia, I mean, the core concept of what you need for the deck, especially if you want to build a budget version of it, is you just need some good stuff like, Omen of the Hunt, Omen of the Sea, Eutropia. You've got yourself a really good package to begin with right then and there. And then just get as much card draw enchantress pieces as you can. And they may be a little expensive, but that's what's going to set the deck apart, is really kind of go from there. And then the fact that you're combining Simic counters with flying, the fact that you're combining it with stuff like hardened scales, different things like that, it just kind of creates this. It's kind of like Get Rog and Enchantress, you know? When you combine two card draw strategies into one strategy, it just goes off sometimes, and it's it's one of the best feelings in the world. And you can definitely kind of see what we're capable of. So that's going to be white water coming down, which is going to give target creature can't be blocked. Okay, it's going to be a little bit of commander damage coming across. Yeah, opponent goes dang too fast. Yeah, that's kind of one of the, you could see how we had to mulligan down to 5, but the fact that we got lucky with the mana crypt and ramped out really quick, that really helped our game plan. And then kind of supplemented our, the fact that we had to mulligan, we were able to supplement that by just cashing in an insane amount of card draw. So there we go. Opponent's going to swing in for a 9. That's going to put us down to 12, 9 total commander damage. And we're going to be able to swing in next turn in the air with Cold Eye. And then go over there. Opponent's going to scoop it up. Good game. This is the best they can do. Always enjoy playing at Slow Player 1. They have a lot of fun builds, and so that you didn't get to see their deck get off to a really quick start, but it looks like they're building a Tuvasa Bestow deck, which is really cool. Just thinking about all of your creatures being enchantments in addition to value enchantments is a pretty cool feeling. So anyways, if you enjoyed the video, hey, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.